Folks, it's time to take a look at a custom game mode. Wait, I don't even have it displayed! Just like that. A snap of my finger, which probably wasn't very impressive on the recording. We are taking a look at some Faction Wars matches between Hamster and jakulangski. Let's start on Dyadic Shore in this TVZ, and Hamster has already begun as the Golden Republic Terran, with jakulangski selecting the Imicren tendril, Infestation. I say we're going to see some interesting things here. Quasracors, and of course... Wait, the Golden Republic versus Imicren. It's not quite a reenactment of Water War, since that was Zoros. But that was pretty good. Yeah, it shall become Nydus Trinity. Okay, Jack getting into character. Hamster's in the top left as, you know, this looks like turquoise Terran. And in the bottom left, we have jakulangski. This might be pumpkin. This might be electric orange. This might be regular orange. I'll say pumpkin. There you go. I guessed it correctly. That's right. My new tech, my new meta is just look at the name, because the color on the units is always going to be confusing, but the name is slightly different in tone, right? So that's my hope, is that anyway it's not, there's no two names that are exactly the same pixel or whatever in terms of hex code. All right, we've got double stockade coming out here for our Golden Republic Terrans, which means I guess he wants to mass Golden Republic Harakans. So that's going to be an interesting one to take a look at. You see, we got our Golden Republic advisor here, where he goes, "You deserve better land than this," when you misplace it. Meanwhile, the Imicren tendril, a very strange, postulate-looking creation with its advisor. So, yep, we have different advisors. For the Zerg tendrils, they don't actually have, like, custom advisor dialogues yet. The Golden Republic advisor exists. I still have to do a bona fide Hekaton one. Right now, I think it just uses Hadril as, like, a baseline one, which is from some map crap work that I've done. First Harakan is on the way. It's a very speedy boy. It's the Golden Republic Harakan. Doesn't rend armor, but has shields for added tankiness, and, of course, moves faster like a Zealot or something. Crazy stuff. The Larvosk is complete for Mr. jakulangski, and a pair of Quasracors, two of them, in fact, are on the way. These melee strain variants of the Quasilisk are pretty gnarly looking, so we'll see if he can defend himself from psionic Ahmed. Ooh, he's going after your Droliths! Ahmed is here, and he's being heckled by the beams of the Quasracors. Get him! Get him, boys! Chase after him, get him! Oh, they're having a tough time of it. Ahmed is just that strong. Don't worry, here's another one. Oh, there goes that one. Yeah, I think these Golden Republic Harakans are probably going to get cleaned up pretty easily. Not a lot that they can do, so that'll be a wrap there. The third one will not share the same fate. The Quasracors reign supreme. They should still end up being pretty useful. Blind Claws. They should still be pretty useful versus in conjunction with Zethrakors and especially Vorvracors, but they do deal some limited splash damage as well. So if you can get them into mineral lines, they might even be better than the Quasilisk at that. So let's see what happens. They are diving forward. A couple Cyprians have been made. Hamster rocking and rolling on the bio. Secret Protoss cloak tech. Oh, on 0_0. The splash damage versus splash damage war. Turns out splash damage wins. No. Maybe there should be like a steady shroud unit that the Golden Republic gets access to later. Clownspiracy. I think as we get further into these Faction Wars development, where I'm actually working on more faction units, they have seen a lot of attention in the last little while. I do think that we will end up seeing more compositions come out that are unique to Faction Wars, right? Some of these Quasracors are going to do their best to try to beam down these Harakans, but I don't know, man. The Aspirants are really good. So the Aspirant debuffs the enemy, and if they die with that debuff, they actually create a little effect field there that heals anything that stands on them, and it heals their shields first. So very, very good for Harakans, considering they have the shields. Very good for the Aspirants, but it'll also nano repair your Mavericks and stuff like that, right? Still, the Quasracors have enough of a number here that it would be a little bit deadly for Hamster to die forward, it feels like. There's waiting for the trap to be sprung, and he springs it directly on him to immediately spring on those Harakans. Oh, it's over. I said spring like 3 times, but we don't have a website yet for that. We don't have a store page. Now, the Harakans are definitely having plenty of success keeping themselves alive versus these Quasracors, but it still is going to be a lot, especially as they get after those juicy Cyprian targets in the backline. Those are dealing so much splash damage. The Aspirants maybe soaking up more than what jakulangski would want. He doesn't even finish that last Cyprian. Oh, there we go. He's able to pick it. Behind this, he's just got more and more Quadracores. The number needs to go up. He burrows them as if right in Hamster's face, as if to say, maybe you're the blind one. Looks like Mason was thinking about taking an expansion over there, but not in the natural. Instead, Hamster is very much all in. We have a no icon here, so it's good for me to see that. That's going to be the Enzorthracore. I'm almost assured of it. We will see some infestation take place. At least jakulangski is certainly going to try it. By the way, I make no promises that Faction Wars is balanced, especially in 1v1. I don't know about that one, my friends. By the way, Aspirants' shields do not regenerate the way that flash shielding is. That's a Protoss thing, and you know, you're lucky to have Terran shields at all, right, as the Golden Republic. So they're going to fall all the way back and anchor for emergency defense. It looks like the Quadracore will indeed be sent back. But hey, it gave a little bit of free healing, so there is that. There's the bad boys, the Enzorthracours. Yeah, I know. They're just a recolored Zoroastrian for now. For now. But they do, in fact... Oh my god. Faction Wars is based. Dude, he's gonna find a Mason! XD! Why don't people play more XD? No, Jack, look, there's a Mason right there. You could infest it. Jack, you could take it. Jack, go get it. He doesn't want to get it. The Enzor reflux will soon be levied against Hamster's forces. And if they fall during this experience, they will become blissfully embraced. Some Hurricanes will join forces. Oh, an infested Cyprian as well. Let's make it happen, boys. Still getting a lot of good surface area damage dealt to a lot of those units despite it. So there is that. But man, I really want him to take this Mason. Make a ministry right then and there. Force Hamster's hand. More Enzorthracours on the way. Well, at least one of them. Capping his gas as well in the process, adding more Drolettes. He's pushing forward. The Enzorthracore is not as tanky as the Zoroastrian. It's just not. I know that probably sounded like word salad, but it's actually syllable salad. Syllable soup. The Hurricanes are probably doing way more damage than they ought to here, considering they can't rend the armor, right? But the Enzorthracore only has the 2 armor. So it's not as powerful versus this composition, although Hamster not being able to penetrate with the Cyprians is kind of a big deal. He has added a Trojan. I'm guessing he's going to go ahead and try the good old-fashioned Cyprian drop. You're not incumbent. It's not incumbent upon you to go straight for faction-only units the way jakulangski is doing. He's refusing to make Zethracours, Vorvacours, Nathacours. Okay, he's making 1 Lakizalisk, finally. I was going to say, that's going to be his first non-factional unit. Really getting into the spirit of Faction Wars. Jack has a very scary army, though. Or rather, Hamster has a very scary army. Jack is, he needs to get scarier. He needs to take some of those units. Or he needs to make a couple more Lakes. Now, at the same time, that drop is going to be good. Oh, yeah, Hamster's got him with it. How could he come back from that kind of damage? At the very least, his base is, his other base is still mining. But it's hard to clean up these Cyprians. You don't have the regular Zorius you're used to, my friend. Coming in on the front line, there's lots more Golden Republic conquistadors doing their best to earn the Protoss' favor by annihilating paltry Zerg forces. The Imicren tendril will infest no longer. At least not right now. Maybe Jack will pick it again. 4 more Enzorthracours are on the way, but I don't think it's going to be nearly enough. He's down to 13 Drolettes. Barely got anything. He finally kills an Aspirant. I think that might be the first one that he's killed all game. And it may be his last. Cyprian's going back up to wreak havoc on yet another resource line, where it all began for the resource harassment. Ooh! It's brutal. GG has to be called. Hamster will take game 1. Golden Republic conquers the Imicren tendril. You saw it here first. We'll make a game about that. We'll make a map about that or something. JK, I still have to make Tyrant's Tale first. So we can have a Faction Wars game, Faction Wars tournament for the next Tyrant's Tale. I think that would be pretty sick, actually. But we need to wait for them to all be a little bit further off in development. Maybe the same time next year, actually. All right, let's go into game number 2. Things are a little bit different now, and jakulangski is already having a good time because Hamster is in the top right. He is the Nydus Trinity Terrans, and he seems to be Periwinkle. No, Deep Periwinkle. Oh, I should have looked at his chat messages. Damn. Well, jakulangski is in the bottom left as the Zinwaldite Brown Zerg. And yeah, so, I mean, jakulangski literally cannot spell any unit that is not a Zerg unit. I don't know why that's a bit now, but, you know, it has to call them Transcenders instead of Tensenders, you know, like they transcend or whatever. The Orkoti tendril was selected here by Mr. Jack, and I don't know about the Orkoti tendril because it only has one unit. It is the Orkoti Hydralisk. And I think Hamster may have realized, the reason why he was saying no is because I think on this patch, the Orkoti Hydralisk was, shall we say it was at the wrong cost, and it attacked air units, and it was supposed to attack only ground units and be a bit more expensive because it's a bit more powerful as a anti-ground combatant. So yeah, anyway, that's an interesting situation to be in. Now Hamster has to fight the Imba. What's he going to do about it? I still firmly believe that it is playable, but maybe jakulangski will change my mind there. If you guys are interested in crazy games like Faction Wars and other game modes, you might consider signing up for the March Invitational here. I do formally invite anyone who joins our server between now and next Friday. So that's pretty epic, right? 1 week from today, signups will close because the next day after that is the tournament. 1 week from tomorrow is the tournament, if you're watching this on the day it came out anyway. And so that is a pretty big deal. Jakulangski rocking out with his Orkoti Hydras. One base, straight into Hydrath. The Larvosk after. Now Mavericks are on the way. Now, with the Nydus Trinity, do you go cohorts versus this? I guess one round is on the way. First Hydralisk is already out. You can see it deals 2x7. Similar to the Bactylisk, actually. Armor is going to hurt it a little bit. It already has 2 armor pen, though, so it's pretty good versus... It's not that far away from the Goliath anti-air, but for ground. You know what I mean? It's pretty good. So 7 range. Not too shabby. Might even be OP even after I fixed its cost and its ability to target air units. So, just a thing. Just a thing. Another straight recolor for now as well, because of course we do not have a remodel of the Hydralisk yet, but when we do, which might happen sooner than you think with the way that Delta Catamus has been working on some Protoss models. Maybe we can have him also do some Zerg. We'll see what happens. No stim on the Mavericks here. Hamster very, very delayed on the stim. Tries to jump straight onto that one of those wounded Hydralisks, but it ends up getting burrowed. At least one of them does go down there, courtesy of the cohort, muscling through. But yeah, even if he had been really, really good on the stim timing, I think he would have gotten A-moved by that force. He's going to fall back with the cohort. Zombie, indeed. Well, he's going to drop an anchor and a 3rd stockade, pulling away from potential expansion timings, knowing that it is that was a bad plan. Yeah, knowing that his opponent has a little bit more of a military-focused opener here. He can actually delay his expansion and still be very much ahead on the economic side. You can see he's actually up by 3 workers. As long as he continues making them, he'll be all right. He's going to send his Masons out there to maybe absorb some of this pressure. But yeah, I guess this is a problem. He doesn't have that many, gap closers here. He's going to have to dive forward. Oh yeah, this map has no ramp. Yeah, well, that is true. Cohort's tanking a lot of damage. Mason out here as well to add a little bit more. But there's no follow-up stim. Hamster being a little bit lackadaisical on the unit control. And look at his money in the bank. Definitely needs to get a little bit of that spent. He's got his anchor with 1 Maverick in it. The other one's going to try to get in there. Oh no, Hamster, you misclicked. Oh, it's going from bad to worse. Jakulangski getting utterly overwhelmed. Ooh, narrowly manages to get that one in there. The problem is right now that the anchor is placed pretty far away. And yeah, that's going to just end up falling. At the very least, he can try to stim his Mavericks out as he gets more of them out. And they do train pretty fast. He did do a round of cohorts, or at least 1 cohort. But he needs to actually get them sicked on all at the same time. If he can sync up his defenders, he can actually excise the Orkoti Hydras before they can really get to a critical mass. Especially with the cohort soaking up many of their salvos, right? I don't know. I don't know, my friends. There could be more in here. He's got almost 500 minerals in the bank, but Jakulangski will clutch it out. Hamster not able to fight the Imba. The Orkoti all-in has taken a scalp. What's behind door number 3, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. Let's go find out. It is a redux. Jakulangski in the top right seems to be our Japanese violet Zerg. And in the bottom right, we have Hamster rocking the midnight green Terran. Hey, I think the only one I guessed wrong was Deep Periwinkle. I guessed it as regular Periwinkle. Now, the way that I'm seeing this is Hamster is back at the Nydus Trinity. He's running it back. Jakulangski is the Orkoti Zerg, again, the Orkoti tendril, so he is running it back. So it's the same thing as Frosted Forest. Dyadic and Frosted Forest, both by Biddy B. This map is another one by him. It's Genesis Y. And it will be a Starpad rush, actually. Hamster's playing... there is no Starpad unit for the Nydus Trinity just yet, so I'm curious about why he picked that. Maybe it's just because, like... oh, this is maybe where he found out that the Orkoti Hydras attack air when they shouldn't. Because Hamster is like, oh yeah, I'll just go ahead and drop this Starpad and you know, kill him because he won't have any anti-air. He'd need to make an Izira core to do that, or a Spraith or whatever. So I think maybe that's what he's going for. He's actually setting up for a second Starpad as well. I guess it's not a bad idea. I mean, once they're actually fixed, that's definitely... oh, look at that. Hamster likes faction wars most. See? There it is. New units is cool. Well, if you think new units are cool, then you should absolutely start playing Cosmonarchy right now. I don't know what else to tell you. If you haven't started playing it yet, what are you doing? We got over 800 people in our Discord server. I say over 800 because I think right now it's exactly 800 as I record this, but I think by the time it goes live, there will be over 800. I honestly wish it would be the tournament mode, yeah. Interesting. Well, since we announced the faction, it would at least get out of the way of announcing the race. The way that random is supposed to announce your race is like one of the things we've decided to go for. Wraith on the way. It will not get here before the Hydras pop, so jakulangski will be bug abusing and imba abusing multiple times. I still feel like with enough Wraiths, you could probably just pick the Orkoti Hydras. And yes, Hamster is correct. Clearly, there are things that are not quite balanced in the current rendition of things. Bleedra. Oh, he still gets a Droleth. Fuck! Prodogo, what? It's true. It's true. It is my fault. I copied the weapon over from the base Hydra, and I forgot to remove one of the aspects, right? So that is my fault. That is my fault. That's all right though. That's all right. The Hydras have to come back to clear this one Wraith. There's now 2 Wraiths, and you know, I think Hamster can still do something here. Ooh, never mind. He's getting owned. Well, he can fall back. The cloaking helps him out a little bit there. So the thing is that this Hydra has benefits from like extra durability stats because it's supposed to not be able to shoot air and it's supposed to cost more. And it doesn't do either of those things. It shoots air and it costs the same as the default Hydra. And Avaleth now being made for detection, so jakulangski definitely insulating himself here. Ooh, immediately sniped out. See ya. Got a little bit too close. The larva probably got a little bit too close and decloaked that Wraith. Poor guy. Well, he's now down to 3 Wraiths, but yeah, with the Avaleth here, he is going to need to get the hell out of dodge. Unfortunately, he led with the wounded one, so it just immediately got aggroed and sniped. He's going to have 4. He's producing on 3 pad Wraith right now. Very, very ballsy play. I think he should probably follow this up with like a Tarask drop. This is stupid. I agree, Hamster. You submitted the game, though. Yeah, I think if he just goes for like, you know, a Trojan and a Fulcrum, he can probably do Tarask drops. Problem is right now, the Orkoti Hydras are leaving. The Orkoti Hydras are leaving the building. There's 3 of them back in here, or 4 of them back in here, but the workers are getting heckled. He needs to actually pick some of these like isolated targets off for my money, but I mean, with 4 of them on the way, he's now making a stockade. He's got no defenses back at home. He seems to have lost track of how many Orkoti Hydras were supposed to be here. And as they arrive, he's going to need to pull back his Wraiths and see if he can make a defense. He'll have to go ahead and cancel that stockade too, I think. He has capped his gas, at least on the ridge. No cancel on that for the money back. And he's rallying his Wraiths further out. The star pads can and probably will be annihilated by the Hydras. There's the repair coming in to delay it. This is the hit 'em up faction. Well, he hates cloaked units, so actually that's pretty accurate to the current goings-on of what's happening. See, the Hydra's getting a little bit confused about what they're supposed to be targeting there with all the cloaking. So that goes to show that the Wraiths will eventually outcompete them. Question is, can Hamster continue to spam Wraiths to victory? By the way, I did fix this in the live patch. I forgot to stipulate that like I did end up going and fixing this after. It's not like it currently is still like this. So if you guys want to play faction wars against Jack, have no fear. He won't be able to do this to you to the same degree. Extra armor helping out versus the Wraiths. Reinforcing Hydras do come on back. He clears 2 of them for, what, 2 Wraiths? That's actually a pretty good trade. Maybe there was a 3rd one in there. It's hard to tell sometimes if the corpses stack. He's going to go after the Larvosk. I don't think that's a great choice because the Hydras themselves are a bit juicier of a target. What does he got? He's going to go up to 11 Wraiths. He's adding that stockade back. Fully repaired it. 1 Ant Seal. I love the Ant Seals, actually. 2 Ant Seals coming out for our Terran player. Again, he is Nydus. He is Nydus Trinity, but I don't know if it matters too much. Nice. Good target selection there. Target cycling. That actually kills the Hydras in, you know, 3 salvos instead of 4, since it was a 2-shot situation. Looks like right now, with no additional Hydras coming, he should know that his opponent is probably sending them across the map. He needs to immediately cycle back with the Wraiths. The Ovoleth is seen in the middle of the map. The Ant Seals kind of slow down the tail end of that attack. More Wraiths are about to pop. Huracan's here to occupy it. This is looking very good for Hamster. This will be the most that he's faced at any one time, but I think jakulangski will be punished for the monocomp. Now, the star pads could go down very fast, so there is that as an option for sniping. He's going to go for the repair, but he needs to actually get on top of these bad boys. Yeah, he's going after the snipe here, but I don't know if that's the right move. The Ant Seals swerve back after one Wraith falls, and they are going to go after that star pad, but it's a suicide mission, not even killing a single Mason. Loses 1 production structure, and still has a flock of Wraiths to his name. This is looking very dire for jakulangski, who is monocomping back. He's going to get 5 more rallied out, so he will go up to 12 Hydras, but, you know, he's got to protect a wide swath of terrain. I think he'll, at the very least, be losing his expansion. We'll see. That Larvosk has been the apple of Hamster's eye for a very long time. Oh no, his Ant Seals didn't go in with the attack. That's a bit of a missed opportunity there. He definitely could have actually gotten that Larvosk, but from bad to worse, 15 Wraiths still do the better. Ministry, Fulcrum. Okay, finally we might see the Tarrasque come out. Now making a cohort. The first factional unit that Hamster has deployed so far. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty big impact here, a big wipe of the natural. Workers being heckled. He could go after that Spraith with the Wraith count that he has, but he's going to choose to fall back and wait for reinforcements. Our Ant Seals are still very, very good health for our turn players, so definitely looking good there. On the Jack side, he is obviously going to be slavishly monocomping the Orkoti Hydra, because this is the only unit that is currently implemented for this faction. And Jack obviously doesn't seem to like making standard units, right? So here comes the Palladium for the Fulcrum. Hamster going for the Tarrasque. It replaces the Phalanx, so good choice there. There you go. So finally snipes that Larvosk. It's going to force Jack to build it a little bit more in the defensive stance. Meanwhile, we have another one being added as well. Finally, the pool coming, so he realizes he needs something to deal with this. It's really funny to see the bug abuse, you know, like Imba abuse kind of unit here, and it's still losing out to Hamster's strategy. He has conquered the Imba, I think, anyway. He's definitely in a winning position right now. Poor Jack is not going to live this one down anytime soon. He is making a good number of the Hydras, up to 13. Ooh, he's really got to watch out, though. At this point, he is slowly amassing a good number. Looks like maybe 2 Wraiths went down, if my math is correct. I think he had 18 for a moment there. So, just rallying off of the 2 star pads, hasn't bothered reconstructing it. I really want to see the Tarrasque drops. I think those could be really juicy in the mineral line. There's only anti-air defense here, so you kind of hug this side and just unload it right there. We'll see if Hamster's gathered enough data to make that choice, or if he wants something else with him. Maybe he's just planning a sort of a death push there. A second Palladium on the way, as the first of our infested tanks have arrived. The one Huracan revealing a little isolated pocket of 6 Orkoti Hydras. They can be jumped upon, and immediately they are. Doesn't look like a single Wraith will go down. Good spacing there from Hamster. He will pursue those, and that will take the teeth out of this attack. It's worth pointing, I mean, he's still got 14 of them. Oh, the Ovoleth going down. That's going to be a big scalp. It trades it with the Ant Seal. So detection for detection, kind of tit for tat there. Might need to cycle in through a couple more. There's the Tarrasque. 2 of them a cycle. Very beautiful to see. And a 3rd Fulcrum will be added. Nice. Might decide to cap that sieve. We'll see. I put a sieve on that ridge. We'll see if he ends up doing that. Currently, there's no factional benefit to tiering up for... I think the only one that has a tier 2 unit for any of the factions is actually the Luminary, which replaces the Seraph for the Golden Republic. So not applicable to this match. We won't see any benefit to tiering up. That's factional anyway. Obviously, you get benefits of having more tech. Looks like about like 16, 18 Hydras are leaving the building right now, but this is as those Spraiths are going to start to fall apart. That one Ant Seal doing its best to protect versus multiple Spraiths. One of them has been taken down. Still got 20 Wraiths. He could still do this. He's certainly forced back the attack. Does he know it, though? I mean, he's got a good number of units meanwhile, and now when he sees the Hydras, okay, he's going to lose a total of 4 Wraiths for the attack. Does full kill one of the Cesiants before it can be remorphed, and we have Nathracores being added to the mix here. Those will be good anti-drop, so my preferred Tarask drop strategy that I keep advocating for, it's getting not only less likely by the minute, but also less attractive by the moment. As 15 Orkoti Hydras are continuing to walk through. Yeah, unfortunately for Hamster, he's about to fly his Wraiths directly into the maw of the beast. Honestly, only losing a couple of Wraiths here and there. Like, Wraiths are very cheap. It's not like Starcraft 1 Wraiths where they're 100. They're the same price as a siege tank. In Cosmonarchy, they're just like 75-25. So very, very cheap units. You don't want to lose them all if you can help it, but it's not as painful as maybe people are accustomed to it when they see Wraiths. Cosmo Wraiths are a little bit different. Actually, I'd argue that they are better, but they're also cheaper. Now, the Tarasks come out, try to force these puppies back, and it looks like that will be correct. Jack has to fall on back. He's down to below 12 of the bad Hydras. The good Hydras, but the bad Hydras, bad boys. Those Avalots are probably not long for this world. Picks one Hurakan, and then he's going to need to cycle back a little bit here. The Nathracores just remaining idle on the other side of the map. Jakulangski not using them right now, needs to actuate them either as harassment. There's no anti-air in this base at all. Definitely could be a good choice. Or Hamster will just end up pushing him forward here and forcing the issue, saying, no, you need to come to me with your Nathracores. 13 Wraiths versus 13 Nathracores. 13 races? Whoa. You leaked 2026 Cosmonarchy. You can't do that. Adding a little bit of healing to the mix. Clerics. Tarasks, one of them not rallied. Third base on the way here. Oh, we're actually getting 3-base Faction Wars gameplay. I mean, at least for one of the players. Can you call this Faction Wars gameplay? It seems like mono battle gameplay. I know the Nathracores technically exist. Have they done much? Not really. A Shaman has been deployed as well. I feel like somebody's like, eventually people will be Cosmo streamers, right? Like Steven and stuff. Their sub-alert, a Terran Cosmo streamer will have their sub-alert be Shaman status operational. I'm waiting for that for Top Ramen or something. Cohorts are the only thing that shoot up here right now. Wraiths need to be scrambled over into the fight. There's 15 of the bad boys. Definitely could be a good move. I don't know. As of right now, there's 20 of the Orkoti Hydras, and they are going to lay into that air force. Still, the Tarasks are really hard to bring on down. A little bit of armor rend here helps with the Nathracores, but the Wraiths are definitely going to kind of riposte those. So the Wraiths are the anti-air, the Tarasks are the anti-ground. Oh, and they're on a regular rally or whatever. They're on a move command instead of an attack move. They could have just turned around and fought, and you can see how quickly they melt those Orkoti Hydras. Something I didn't think I would say on this patch. Melting the Orkoti Hydra? Yeah, huddling around side the Shaman is a good move. Unfortunately, the Shaman kind of wanders away, but, you know, that's all right. He doesn't need it. He's going to clear the Naths. What do we have? 5 more pairs of Naths on the way. Jack is taking a third base. Definitely needs to think about what to do there. Hamster has fully saturated his main and natural, but not his third, and he's got 2k minerals in the bank. Hamster, have you AFK'd? Have you all tabbed? You've got more Tarasks on the way. A fourth Fulcrum. Okay. We might need to see some, like, I don't know if Cyclops would be the best move here, but something to deal with the potential air switch. And, of course, if he just waypointed some Hurakans over there into the third base, that could also help. Well, Jakulangski still trying to stay in the game. Still doing his best. But Hamster is moving interminably with his Tarasks. If they get close enough, they'll spore them to death as well as the bio cannon. All right, well, there's a dwindling population in the Orkoti tendril. It's not nearly as many as you would like it to see. 9 Drolettes are going to start saturating the minerals over there. Hamster still rocking and rolling. His air units have kind of spread out off to the side for anti-drop, anti-flyby. Not a bad move. Hamster can obviously move them up to Heckle as well. Looks like he's going to try to do just that. There are already some Nathracores waiting at the third base, so a prescient move from Jakulangski to keep things going. I don't know. All right, the Wraiths engage. Remember that the Tarasks can't attack air. They used to be able to. Unlike the Hydras, I actually did correctly remove that particular feature, so there you go. But the Nathracores are gone, so it doesn't really look like Jakulangski will be able to hold back the tide. I think that has to be it. I mean, he's got 10 more coming. Maybe he can do some kind of final stand, but he's behind economically and pretty much has been the whole game. You can only keep the tides at bay for so long with the Imba. No anti-surface defenses remaining. They just cannot crack the shells of the Tarasks. And it turns out that the Nydus Trinity is actually the better Zerg the whole way. Oh my god. They don't deal splash damage. Oh, they do deal splash damage. Okay, I was like, how the hell do they kill all of them in sync? Well, there you go. IDK when their second weapon shoots. You have to go closer. You gotta be in range. Weird. Well, you could see that the range of this is 7 and the range of this is 5. That might help. Poor Jack. He just wanted to abuse something OP. Bleedra can't beat the tank abomination. It's true. Well, GGs have been exchanged. That one was a longer game than I thought. Probably longer than it should have been, if you catch my drift. And so let's move on to the next game. See, this is what we should have seen before. Hamster in the bottom right of Germination, another Biddy Bee map. Is it just the Biddy Bee rotation? I didn't see the last map. We'll take a look at it after this. Oh yeah, it is actually. I think it's Apollo. So there you go, Biddy Bee rotation. Hamster in the bottom right, he is our turquoise Terran yet again, and he is the Upstarts. The Upstart Terrans have the Wendigo instead of the Wraith, so that could make sense. He could also be going Southpaws. Now, Jakulangski in the top left as our Periwinkle Zerg. He is the Zorthos Tendril. The Zorthos Tendril has, not the Gorvrakor, that is a different Zerg Tendril. What does the Zorthos Tendril have? Oh yeah, they have the Iziralisk and the Nathralisk. So they've got those kinds of units. They do have a factional Lakizalisk planned, but making another unit that attacks while burrowed without some kind of jank method, the way that I kind of did it with the Zobrialisk, it's very hard in this closed source engine that we've got going. So I'm going to go ahead and cook that up separately. But we do have a Fulcrum coming, so I suppose Hamster's going to be rocking Southpaws. They're kind of fast crowd control / harassment units. You can kind of think of it as like, it actually replaces the Goliath just so that you have less overall tech in your arsenal. But looking at it, it might actually be better to replace the Goliath with something else than just replace the Vulture with the Southpaw. But I also don't know. I mean, do you ever want to lose access to lobotomy mine? That's an open question. So anyway, there might be some things in flux with the Upstarts later. I actually haven't paid them too much heed yet, which is funny because after I'm done with Chapter 3 of the Lost Gods, a single-player little mission set I've been putting together, I will be moving on to Day of Blood, a Terran campaign where you play as Upstarts and eventually you get access to Futurist Federation tech. So pretty cool stuff there that I'm definitely excited to deploy, but that does mean that I'm going to be looking at the Upstarts a little bit more closely. So we'll see about that. You can see here that Jakulangski is going straight for the Vornath Pond. He wants the Nathralisk. He wants it. It allows you to heal from an area. It's a pretty funny, I think interesting concept for a unit, but we'll see how good it actually is. There goes the Southpaw, sort of like a retrofitted vehicle, like some sports hover car or whatever. The Upstarts just like, oh shit, this is what we got. This is what we can make, that kind of thing. So making a couple of those. They shoot air and ground, a little bit of splash damage there. And the first couple of Zethakors are going to be a nice little demonstration of their attack. It's a little bit of like a line damage thing, right? Maybe I'll get one worker here. Oh, good cycle there. If Hamster hadn't moved there, I think he would have lost the worker. Though it is hard to say. One of them is at 50 health. Show me yourself. Oh yeah, I guess they were attacking independent targets. So maybe he wouldn't have lost them. Nonetheless, 3 Southpaws. They ride now. And I don't know, one single Nathralisk, because it doesn't come in pairs, unlike the Nathracor, and 3 pairs of Quasis. They should be enough to deal with the Southpaws, but I say should. I actually don't know if they will be. And remember that the Southpaw shoots up, so that might also be a bit of a problem here. The Nathralisk leaving the house, it's going to get hunted down immediately and torn almost asunder. Good dodges there from Jack. Evasive maneuvers. Biddy Bee tiles. All right, well, he's going to go ahead and keep his opponent busy. 2 more Nathralisks on the way. He definitely needs something else to deal with the Southpaws, especially when the target selection isn't quite on point, and he clumps up his Quas as well, doesn't spread them. Here comes one Nathralisk, but it's going after the high HP one. 2 salvos on that one would have done it, but I think this might be a bit of a... oh, there you go. He sniped one of them. But yeah, I think this might be a bit of an unceremonious game. He made the Hydrith in, but didn't make any Hydrith units. He definitely needed to spread versus the splash damage. He's going to lose a ton of workers, especially when you mass up like that. Oh, no. Jakulangski, my Droleth, man. Well, the Southpaw is 7 HP. Will it get any more kills? The answer is no. Well, there's more Southpaws where that came from. I don't think that Hamster will find too much more success in this current position. But you can see how long it takes the Southpaw to kill one Quaz. If they weren't spread out like that, they would not have fallen at the ramp, I think. That's sort of my thought process anyway. Many more of them are on the way. Triple Folk Southpaw. They cost a little bit of Vespian from what I remember. This one almost never, like, this mode never gets played, so definitely harder for me to remember, like, the stats and stuff, like the Tarask splashing I forgot about. So the Southpaw, pulling it up on the website, does cost 25 Vespian. A little bit more expensive than a Wraith, costs 100 minerals. But they seem to be doing all right. I mean, honestly, that is pretty rough showing versus not spread Quaz again. You could definitely see how better unit control might have afforded jakulangski a little bit more time, but now he's going to lose even more workers, and this should be the sort of kick in the teeth that will send him packing. GGXD has to be called as Mr. Jack is sent packing. And that means we only have one more replay, so let's get to it. So, Hamster, the turquoise terror in the top left, is the upstart once again. And we are back to the Imicrenia tendril, the infestation tendril, for jakulangski in the bottom right. Is this golden brown or beaster brown? I'll guess beaster brown, but it was peach. Dude, how am I ever supposed to guess these colors? Oh. Hey, honestly, I did a pretty good job on the color guessing today, so I'll pat myself on the back. There weren't really any easy ones besides maybe Japanese Violet. I've seen that by Art of Turtle, who plays this game a lot, so I've seen that plenty of times for him on Zerg, so it was easier for me to guess that one. But otherwise, some of them could have been interesting. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water here to rest my voice for just a moment, but let me remind you that if you want further faction development, you can donate on the coffee page and ask for it. That is a feature that we allow for. Plus, recently, Smarty Cakes donated $12 a month on our coffee page, so that means he gets access to that mission of the Lost Gods that I'm cooking up before anybody else. Well, him and everybody else who donates at least that amount of money. So if you want to be like Smarty Cakes, you can go ahead and at least pledge that amount on our coffee page. We will get it to you. That's it for this sponsored sip. So I did mention in the previous game that Hamster picked up Upstarts. He obviously went for Fulcrum for Southpaws, but now he is going Star Pads so he can make Wendigos. The Quasarcore should actually be pretty good versus this, and it does look like that's what jakulangski is going for. So I'm not too worried about his ability to defend, but the Wendigo can be pretty deadly. Like, it might still, I think it has an armor rend if I'm remembering correctly, so it rends 1 armor per stack, so it's kind of like a not flame-based apollioid adhesive. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because it's like, okay, now I'm in trouble based on the presence of the Wendigo if I'm fielding an armored comp. But we don't really have that as an option here. He's going to be making combat units anyway, so... Now, the first Wendigo might get there in time to get some really, really good damage dealt here, as jakulangski did go for a Larvosk after the pool. Well, there's a Kagrant pool, Larvosk or whatever. So that first round of Quasarcores will take a little bit of time here. Might be enough to kill a worker if he's not going to burrow it. No reaction time for Jack? No! He burrows the wrong one. Needs to burrow that one. There you go. Now he's going to go ahead and have to burrow that. Oh, no, never mind. It was on auto attack move, so it does leave behind those workers. Still getting 1 worker there is pretty really good. Oh, phew, he says. Maybe he wondered if the Quasarcore attacked air. Otherwise, he would have been really boned. So there's plenty more where that came from, but the Quasarcores splash. So they should actually be pretty good there. He hasn't unburrowed his drill. There you go, I was going to say. Needs to do that. Yeah, he's going to stack them up there, and he's going to get some pretty good damage. The problem is that they weren't really... There's not that many Quasarcores in the position, right? So needs to make more. Oh, he went for a round of Droll. That's Jack. That's a greedy move. He's going to lose a Larvosk for his troubles. Well, he almost has enough Vespian to get back to it, but he hasn't been harvesting it, so he's got to deal with that first. All right, now he should be insulated from damage, though. And, you know, this is another round where, just like in the game where he was playing Orkoti on Genesis Y, he definitely can do a Spraith-based defense, right? Oh, look at that! They come in from the other side. Jack, get your units. Jack, get your units, Jack. Jack, no. Jack, get your units. Ah, Jack. Well, I don't know if that helps you, Jack. Just one more. Yeah, okay. All right, well, Jack is kind of getting bullied. But we are getting into Southpaws after that. Because, you know, what counters Quaz-like units better than a Southpaw? So just kind of roaming with a couple of these Quasarcores should be enough to stop the Wraith from doing too much. Unfortunately, he does burrow his units, so that is pretty bad. But this is the right idea to go for the counterattack. We do have the Southpaws coming. We have the Anchor coming. If he just runs past that, maybe he can get some good mileage out of this attack. Because there's a lot of resources invested into this push. That's going to be another Larvosk. Quasarcores jump forward. Best case scenario, they start running by. Oh, the Southpaw doesn't even make it in. All right, Quasarcores are in the base. The Wendigos are falling back. Oh, he can definitely dive onto this army. He needs to go after the Wendigos first. There you go, sprashing him down immediately. Maybe he'll go after some of the Masons. Yeah, his Quasarcores can step to these Southpaws. This is actually a really, really good move. But Jack is really convinced he needs to kill the eco of his opponent. And Hamster does not have a lot of Masons. He's going to go down to a very, very small number. You know, I like to imagine that when you guys watch Cosmonarchy for the first time, every game was like this. So for those people who play Cosmonarchy, this video is like what happened when you first saw Cosmonarchy. You know what I mean? Like it's new units, new tactics, strange things happening. 0_0 in the chat. His Quasarcores are going to clean up these Southpaws, though. Nice movement there. Yeah, that's actually going to be really good. He's pulling every worker he owns. Oh no, the Wendigos are coming. Oh man, they've been splashed so well, though. Nice move there. Yeah, the Quasarcore splashing is really, really good. Yeah, at this point, Hamster has this. I mean, Hamster's done. Jakulangski has this. This is more Zergy than Nydus T. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe they should get a factional Mason, though. G. The 1G. It's a classic move. Jakulangski scoring 2 wins. One of them off of the back of Orkoti, but that last one, fair and square, in my opinion. Well, post what you think about Faction Wars. We might be playing that in the tournament on the March Invitational there, so definitely stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled. Sign up if you haven't already. As long as you're in our Discord server, it is open to you. GG's, we'll be back tomorrow for another cast.